Hello, my name is Kiriath, and today you can order Valhallans. They are made to order, they're there, they're a thing. If you have a Valhallan army, you can actually buy them again, which, I'll be honest, I know quite a few of you have actually been waiting for quite some time to be able to finish off your Valhallan armies because, well, they disappeared. They vanished, which kind of sucked. Let's be honest, having all of the various Imperial Guard regiments suddenly be reduced down to Cadians and Catachans and no one else is pretty garbage, it's fair to say. I mean, the Imperial Guard are one of those factions that beyond deserves having multiple choices of multiple regiments, of multiple worlds, of multiple systems. They are literally everywhere, and there are billions of them. They're not all Cadian, they're not all Catachan, but you would be tricked into believing so looking at the Games Workshop site most of the time. But right now, the Valhallans are available to order, and I thought what we'd do is we'd just take a quick look at them and just see how well they've aged, because I think that's a valid question, even if you are a fan of the more retro side of things. Things have moved on quite a bit in terms of sculpting, in terms of detail, in terms of just overall quality for Games Workshop products, by and large, and these guys, they are getting on a little bit now, but I still think, genuinely, on the surface, right now, anyway, they look pretty good. They genuinely look pretty good. Also, the Valhallen Platoon for 75 quid is really not bad. That's actually not... That's like an actual discount, isn't it? So, an Ice Warrior squad. You got a 10-man squad. And... Oh, is it a discount, though? Is it? Hang on. That's 25 quid for 10. What have we got on the platoon? We've got 20 dudes. We've got 3 autocannons. And we've got a command squad as well. By the look of things, I think actually there might be a little bit of a discount going on there. It requires quick maths, and frankly, quick maths is not something I'm capable of doing. But let's just have a look at these lads and see how well they have in fact aged, because they are getting on a little bit. You know what? Looking at that, they have not aged badly at all. They've not aged badly at all. The only thing I'd say is maybe the faces aren't quite as good as they could be, although, frankly, faces can be a bit hit and miss still. For the most part, they're absolutely fine, but you do occasionally get someone who is undeniably pretty ugly. Whether that's intentional or not is another matter entirely, but these actually are doing pretty good. They're looking alright. The poses are decent. The coats are pretty good. The paint job... I don't know, the paint jobs look a bit older. I don't think that's the fault of the model, though. I think that is actually the fault of the paint job. These are getting on a bit, as we said. And the overall standard of the display models for the website and everywhere, really, for Games Workshop has also improved along with sculpts. The chainsaw looks a little bit ropey, a little bit lacking in detail, although, again, is that just the way it's painted, or... is it actually lacking a little bit? I do love the wooden stocks for the lasguns. That is something that always looks cool. By and large, that squad's aged pretty well. Even the rebreather looks decent on that guy. Not bad. Not bad. Surprisingly not bad. Oh, also classic Commissar Yarrick. Well worth pointing that out. In fact, let's just have a quick glance at this chap, because what a sculpt. It's magnificent. It is magnificent. The old claw one, like the crab claw. Oh, it's so good. And look at that trophy banner that he's got there. Look at that massive, ludicrously big spike. It's a choice. It's a choice that I think has been baffling for years and is baffling even now. But there is a silhouette there that I don't think any other model has ever had. So ridiculous, that massive spike. Okay, let's take a look at the autocannon team. You get 3 of those in the platoon, so... Now, you see, that, to me, that is borderline not aged. That looks great, still. That genuinely still looks great. I love that older style of, the I don't know what to call them, but like the mobile guns, I really, really like that style of things. It's something that the Deathcore have just taken on, and made their own in a way, but it still works really well with these guys. And there is like a bit of detail on there that I always forget is there. You've got the kind of shield at the front there, but there is sort of like a vague wing motif going on with the skull at the bottom. And the faces on that are actually really good. Both of those faces are really decent. The guy firing actually looks like he's firing. It looks good. Actually looks good. Commander Chenkov and the Valhallan commander, both of them look great. I love this model. I love this model so much. It's just got so much personality. Again, there's nothing else that really looks quite like it. Such a glorious moustache as well. Look at it. Look at it go. Clinging to his face for its life. Amazing. And the older style of bolt pistol as well, with the skull coming out of the barrel. Yeah, I reckon that as a character has aged really well. And also, it's one of the things that helps. Admittedly, the fur cloak is maybe a little bit on the bulky side. Although, mind you, I say that. If you look at like Neve Blacktalon from a couple of angles, her fur cloak looks kind of bulky, but actually it isn't. It just depends on the angle you're looking at. I think one of the reasons that he's aged as well as he has is because of the pose. It's a very inoffensive pose. It is kind of action oriented, but it's also very very controlled. So it doesn't look over the top. It doesn't look like it doesn't look as though they're trying to make it look like he's running or jumping. He is just in a calm, stoic action pose, which I have to say, poses like that last really well. Ooh, excuse you. And the Valhallan commander, the gun looks a bit wonky now, and the face kind of, I don't know, the face looks a little bit squished by the collar and not necessarily in a realistic way. But that chainsword, for whatever reason, looks better than the one on the Platoon. And again, it's not a bad pose. It's quite a Commissar pose, in fact, thinking about it. And looking at the hat, there's a little bit of Commissar there as well. But yeah, that's aged pretty well. I think the main thing that's not kind of doing, it's like not letting them down, but it's something that has like demonstrably and noticeably changed is things like cloth detail, that sort of thing. There's a definite thickness to some things on these models that doesn't quite line up with how things are done now, which makes them look a little older. I will say, this is obviously it's a missile launcher team, but it's just 2 sculpts repeated 3 times. The guy with the missile launcher, absolutely fine. The face of the dude holding the missile, absolutely fine. The missile itself looks rather more like a sex toy than anything else. That has not aged great. And the hand is rough. Not just the one holding the missile, but the one like down over his belt. That's it. There's a bit of Wallace and Gromit hand going on there, which is a shame because actually I think the face is actually pretty decent. He's very angry about holding that rocket, but then, mind you, if someone was taking a picture of you holding something like that, then he probably would be. Overall, though, again, aged pretty good. Aged pretty good. I have to say, some of the repeated poses do show up quite badly in a way. Like the heavy bolter team, for some reason, you could I don't think it's too bad because I think you could get away with moving them around a little bit. So having one of them stood behind, one of them on the left, one of them on the right, and you might be able to mess about with the gun a little bit just to break it up slightly. The ones kneeling behind the actual guns themselves, that's just a standard pose and that's okay. But for some reason, it looks way more obvious on like the mortar team. So like the mortar team, for whatever reason, that repeated pose looks way less easy to mess with than the other ones. But then again, these are old kids. Repeated poses are just one of those things that happens. They still happen today, and I'd argue there's a lot more variation now just about, or at least there's a lot of ease of variation, being able to kit bashing, being able to repose. Stuff like this, it's just one of those things. You know, if you're getting these models, you know the deal. You know that you're not going to be able to mess with them too heavily, which is it's just one of those things. I've always liked the special weapons team as well. Those have aged great. Those have aged absolutely great to me. They look fantastic. Maybe the hands were a little big, but that's just part of the heroic scale sort of thing. Overall, that is a really good looking squad. And again, you will have repeated poses, but then again, you know that going in, and there's enough detail there and enough personality there that I don't think it really matters. And I think what was the other little bit they had? Let's have a quick check. It's just the single mortar team. I think that is a bit of a saving, that Valhallen platoon, is it not? You'll have to let me know in the comments. As I say, that requires quick maths, and I don't do quick maths. I just don't do maths at all. I'm terrible at it. But I think it is, which is not bad. I mean, you've got 2 squads of 10. You've got 2 squads of 10, which is 25 each, so that's 50. You've got Chenkov, which is 15 by himself, which already takes up to 65. And then you've got 3 autocannon teams, which be £15 each. So yeah, I think there is. I think there is actually a nice little discount there. It's not bad. It's not bad, to be fair. That's, if you're wanting to grab a few of these, then grabbing a couple of those, that'd keep you going for a bit, wouldn't it? Although, of course, once they're gone this time, who knows when they'll be back again, but still, I think they've aged pretty well, the Valhallans. They really have. They still work, they still fit. Majority of poses are fine, majority of detail is fine. A little bit hard to adapt and to switch out the bits that you might want to change, admittedly, because they are older. But overall, it's still a solid line. It's still a solid line, which, if anything, just makes me more sad that it's limited release and they're only back for a little bit. But yeah, the Valhallans to me still look pretty good. Are you planning on picking any of these up? If you immediately bought some, did you go out straight away and be like, oh my god, I can actually finish this army now, please let me buy all the things? If so, let me know in the comments down below. Do you think they've aged well? Do you think they still look decent, or do you think they're actually looking a bit dated now? I'll be interested to see whether, how many of you agree that they're still pretty good and how many are not 100% on that particular assessment. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Feel free to click all the things, Patreon, video, subscribe, all that stuff. And as always, there's an affiliate link in the description for Element Games, where you buy stuff, and if you buy stuff using the link, I get something for sending you that way. You can support the channel by doing that. You're going to buy the plastic crack anyway. It's just a lot cheaper from Element, and of course 10% of it goes to charity at the end of the month. So, yeah, it's a thing you can do if you would like to. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.